So I'm going to change that. I'm not going to promise I'm going to change that. I'm going to guarantee I'm going to change that. Okay, it's going to change. All right, so pinball is going to come back. Let's do some questions right now. Okay, if anybody has any questions. Yes, what's your name?
Arthur.
Arthur, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thank you. Better than working today.
Any day that we can play pinball and not work is a good day.
An easy question for you on the Wizard of Oz. With the theme and obviously Roger's history and all that, did any of the movies and the other anniversary stuff that's coming out next year, once you make that decision to go?
No, you know, again,
The Wiz and
I didn't know. I didn't know that there are 2 other movies coming out. Wizard of Oz is 23 books encompass the Wizard of Oz. And even my shirt, I didn't know that Oz Pinhead really means something. I'll get to that in a second. But who goes there?
Somebody doesn't know how to tell time.
Okay, well, we got
so neither the Broadway play or anything.
the Broadway play I went to see a few years ago, and I was so tired that day I almost fell asleep in the middle of it. It was a great show. My wife went there like that, and I woke up again. But I was kind of tired, but it was wonderful. Now, what I said to all the guys is, when we get the game going, we're going to go back and see the play. So actually, I want to just tell you about my shirt, since I talk about the movie. Oz Pinhead, you know, it's not just we like pinball. So the Wizard of Oz, his real name is Oscar Zoroaster Fading Isaac Norman Henkel Emmanuel Ambrose Diggs. In short, it's spelled out Oz Pinhead. Go figure.
Nice.
Go figure. Oz Pinhead. So, you know, all of us, you know, that get involved with the game, we all become Oz Pinheads now, which is kind of cool too. So I didn't know about the 2 movies. They're not, you know, The Wizard of Oz, some of it is in the public domain because it's, you know, more than a 100-year-old book. But there are 23 books. There's even a character called Jack Pumpkinhead. It has a pumpkin for a head, and he flies through the air, and he's as smart as how many seeds are in his head, and he's got to go in the ground and go get another head. It's pretty cool. So I gotta, after I finish reading the Steve Jobs book, maybe I gotta go in and read a couple of those Wizard of Oz books. But it is really cool that there are 2 movies. One is filming. If anybody knows Marvin Mechanical Museum, anybody heard of Marvin's Mechanical Museum? Marvin's a great guy. Just something the other day at the show. So, you know, they're filming the James Franco Wizard movie, and they're in Marvin's place, like all the time. And my daughter is crazy for James Franco. She's 24, Jen. So she's going to wind up over there, you know, trying to bump into them. And I think when they do their movie, we've been talking to Warner Brothers and see, because it's not exactly Warner Brothers, it's not our Wizard of Oz, it's their Wizard of Oz. So since we're a licensee, you know, we have to do things that Warner wants us to do. But it is very cool. It's good for publicity.
Oh, it should be one.
Yeah. Yes.
Just curious.
Your name?
Ed Clamp.
Yes.
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
Do you happen to see a comeback? Not that I really personally don't have an issue with licensing, with the exception of if it's a particular theme that you don't care for. You know, in fact, a long time ago, before I actually saw Family Guy, I saw the game, and I'm like, I don't care for Family Guy. I really don't feel like playing the game. But do you see any kind of a return to non-licensed games coming out?
Well, let me go to Family Guy first. Family Guy, we sold, you know, I own pinballsales.com. Most people know that. We sold thousands of Stern pinball machines. Family Guy was a great game for us. We sold more than anybody in the country. Family Guy. In fact, one day I was driving to lunch with Gary in his car, and Gary said, you know, you sold so many of these, I don't understand why other people didn't sell them. And I said, well, why don't you use that playfield? It's a great playfield. Why don't you use it for another game? And Gary said, you know, these people at DreamWorks are asking me to do Shrek. And I said, do Shrek. Make the playfield donkey, we'll make the game in green, we'll do this, we'll do that. By the time we got to lunch to see Jolly, Backer, and Joe Blackwell, we had the game done. Gary jumped out of the car, and that was it. So licenses are really important, and Gary will say, when that question comes up, he'll say, well, if I talk to my distributors in Europe, and I tell them I'm doing a theme, Transformers, they're going to say, I want a container or 2 containers. If I tell them I'm doing X, Y, Z, and nobody knows it, they'll say, good, send me 1 or 2, and I'll let you know what I'm going to do. Now, there is absolute truth in that for Gary, okay? But for me, I knew my first game had to be a theme. My second game, does it have to be, does it not have to be? I don't think it has to be. My second game, I'd rather it not be a theme. It may not even have that big LCD monitor in there, because we're not married to that either. So we can go backwards and forwards with our board system and our computer, where we can do an LCD in the head of the game. We can put the display somewhere else. I will never go back to dot matrix. You'll never see dot matrix in any of our games. It's always going to be color. It's not even going to, and you know, color dot matrix is pretty cool. I saw that too. That was very cool. That's a good in the middle kind of thing. But I guess the long and the short answer is yes, there is a place for it, but it could be a license without a license kind of thing. So if you did a field and stream game, like Joe Walsh, not that we're doing one, but Joe Walsh wanted to do a field and stream game, or something that will appeal to everybody. You can go out there, you see a million bowling games. We haven't seen a baseball game since Slugfest in 1990, right? So, you know, nobody will do a baseball game that went over. There was only one company that would open games before us, but nobody would do a baseball game because baseball really doesn't sell in Europe. But how did Gottlieb sell all those games into Europe those years? There were plenty of baseball games that were built and bowling games, all those things. Nobody ever thought about it. They just took some different artwork and they moved a few pins around and a couple of posts, and they had another game in like a half hour. Where is that party? Can we go to that party?
Belly dance. Girls too.
Belly dancing. Really?
Yeah.
Open that door. Let's go.
We're trying to get it over here.
All right, cool. Who's got a question? Yes.
My name's Kurt. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. Let's say that somebody wanted to design their own. Is there a
You
way
like you?
to what's that?
You like you?
Well, it's on a bar napkin somewhere, I think. But at any rate,
Hey, everybody knows that's how Flash started.
there we go. And
That's how
I
Flash
guess
started.
Guns N' Roses too.
Right.
But you know, if you have your own designs or whatever, is there a way to get those to your company to make a deal
You know,
with how to produce it? If it's
Let's
something-
make a deal. That's another good game. There's a theme for you right there. Hey, what do you got? You got a rubber band. Well, actually, right now, so many people have come to us.
Right.
And so many people have come to us and said, I have a game. You know, everybody wants to fly jets. Everybody's got a game. I got an idea for that. Right? Songwriters like Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, Elton John, those guys, they want to say, listen, I don't want to even hear your song. I don't want to know anything about your song, because if I write something and you say it's yours, I'm going to get sued. I don't really feel that way. Right now, I'm at a disadvantage. I started a company, we're building a factory, and we're doing a game. So we have really one kitchen, like they have over here, one stove, and one or two chefs in the room. So I can't think about 2 or 3, 4 or 5 or 6. There are world famous designers that have come to me and said, Jack, here's this game, build it. Really? Wow, great. Talk to you in about 3 years, 2 years, a year, you know. But I like to see ideas. You know, we get a lot of emails. My phone number is on everybody's T-shirt that we give out. My email, I'm very accessible. I listen to everybody's ideas. I respect them. There's no such thing as a dumb idea. And you know, you never know where good things come from. It has to come from the player base, and it has to come from younger people. Because older people, a lot of times they grow up, and it's not like a Peter Pan, although Peter Pan would be a good thing too. It's not like a Peter Pan kind of syndrome, but you know, if you have something cool that you think works, you know, I was
Just kind of thinking there's there's nobody new designing pinballs,
Right.
like a new person that's a designer. You know, it's all
exactly
the same
right.
people. So.
Yeah. Well, that's why we brought Matt into the mix to do all the toys, and we have an animator in Holland, and we have some other people that haven't really been in pinball. The problem with designing pinball is that you need pinball people to design pinball, because you can't make a mechanism. Like Ben Heckendone's a great guy, and he makes these really cool mechanisms and everything, but who knows if it's life tested when he's got this crush your beer can that's cool to play on his one game. Who knows if that's going to work, you know, 100,000 times. We don't know. So you gotta have guys, and Ben could probably do it because it's Ben. You know, you gotta have guys design stuff for pinball, and it's gotta be a certain way. But it doesn't mean we can't teach new people. Yes?
I just wanted to say also, if you do well and everything works out good, you need a designer, think about either John Papaduke or Pat Lawler. Those two guys are.
Think about them, huh? I think about them all the time. I'm not thinking about all the other things I'm thinking about all the time.
I'm just saying that.
You know,
Well, Family Guy was a Pat Waller.
Pat Lawler did Family Guy, amazing thing.
He's the one that got me into pinball. Twilight's on Adam's Family.
Yep, there's an Adams Family out there. I was playing it before, and I was asked, you know, what's so good about the game, and I spent a lot of time explaining what's so good about the game. The game is fun. That's the first part of it. It's fun. It's got mechanical action. It's got things that are a challenge.
Raul Julia.
Raul Julia, rest in peace. Yeah.
Hypothetically, your opinion.
Of course.
Obviously with,
That's what I'm here for.
Greg
My
and
opinion.
Dennis doing well now. Like, I just think the whole cabinet thing with the crates. I just can't believe that if that game with that look wasn't in a bar, that it would just make money, you know, hand over fist. Do you feel the same on that, or you don't think an odd, different cabinet that draws such attention to it and gets people, whoa, what the heck's that doing in a bar?
Long Alley.
Yeah. Do you think that is something that also is just not the gameplay itself, but
You know,
the look of
Dennis
pinball?
is a lot bigger than me. You know, hey Dennis, how are you? You know, I'm always in a hole, so I try to talk to him when he's sitting down. You know, at Pinball Expo, Dennis is a great guy, and he said to me, hey, you know, it would be really good if you built 100 of these and they were $6,000 instead of us building like 4 or 5 and they're $15,000. And you know, again, it's this kind of thing. Like if you have a bakery, I'm just imagining. I don't know anything about a bakery other than eat cake. So, gee, if I bake rye bread, I guess I could bake, you know, white bread. You know, but building a pinball is not that way. You know, I never say never. It is possible because pinballsales.com. If I had that game tomorrow and it was $6,000, I'm sure I could sell 100 of those games. You know, wood operators. Here's the next problem though. Would operators spend $6,000 to put that game in a location, and what would it make back? That's where the disconnect comes, and that's the problem. See, when I showed you that Wizard of Oz pusher, you say, wait a minute, Jack, you're at a pinball show. What are you showing me this game for? Because the point was to say, from an operating perspective, it's all about return on investment. You know, those guys could go buy stock in Apple, or they could go buy something else, and they're not really in the coin-operated amusement business anymore. They're in the making money business. You know, so if they're not going to make money with that, they're not going to be there.
And the look has to stay modern.
Right, and actually, well, I don't know, I like the look of that. That can't go everywhere, that game. Because the artwork that was appropriate, like on Jack in the Box, let's say, for Fowler, you know, those kind of games like that, you know, Gorgar, Flash, certain games like that, and Big Juicy Melons, it's going to be a rough deal to get that by mom into the basement, or it may not be something that might go well in a certain upscale bar or a certain kind of location because it may offend, you know, the more important part of the whole population of the world, which are women, with the game. So I don't know, but the artwork is beautiful. They sold out of playfields. Greg Ferris did a wonderful job of color, of beautiful artwork. So you know, you never know. I don't know.
Yeah, but everybody likes watermelon.
Yeah, everybody likes Big Juicy Man. Yes.
One of the big problems with selling games to operators like Gottlieb was so wildly different in their hardware. An operator already had Valley and Williams parts.
Right.
He would not buy a Gottlieb because it was totally different. How's your hardware going to be?
I licensed Valley Williams parts.
So it's going to be all Valley Williams,
Yeah.
Flicker assembly,
Yeah.
shooters, poppers.
Yeah, I shot the game. The game shoots amazing.
You-
It's not even a game yet, and the game plays amazing. I go like that, the ball goes right up the ramp. It's not like I gotta push my guts out to get the ball to go up the ramp. I don't feel disconnected from the game. I feel like I'm playing a game. It's amazing. You
And
know?
there's still guys out there who still have bins of Williams parts in their
Oh
shop.
yeah, but here's what's gonna happen, right? A lock bar, a Williams lock bar. How much is a Williams lock bar, bro?
Roughly about $60.
$60. I just spent $13,000 making a tool to make wide body lock bars. Guess what? That price should probably be about $40. I've seen Williams white body lock bars for $70, $80, $90. Curly's not a crook, so there's $60. You buy parts from him, you got an honest guy. But go on eBay, this is a little commercial. But it's true. If I didn't believe that, I'd say you were a crook. But you're not a crook. There you go. So, you know, $60. $60 going once, going twice. Anybody need a lock bar? Who needs a wide body lock bar? Okay. So, you know, these things are not around. My point is, take this for example, right? We're going to use 5 flippers on our game. There's 2 down here. There's 1 over here. There's 1 up on the Munchkin Lane playfield where you shoot the ball around the house. And there's 1 up here on the Witch's Castle. So we're going to start off with like 1,200 games. There's going to be 1,000 limited edition, and let's say another couple hundred that we're going to build that are regular in the first mix. So it's like, I don't know, 6,000 coils we need. I think the price of those coils should come down a little bit. I don't think they should stay up there anymore. You know, some of the parts that we're going to put into the community, let's say, and maybe not operators, because operators are selling their Williams parts because they don't have any Williams games really much more. So what I'm also hoping to do is that bring more of these parts into the community where it helps collectors and hobbyists. So you don't have to have a lock bar that's 2 pieces welded together, or you know, somebody has an old one on their game. Same thing with the glass. You know, we're doing a non-reflective glass on our games. So we're not doing the glass that's made by my good friend Roman in Germany. We're not using that glass. We developed our own glass. Not because I don't like Roman, but because I want to save money. So, and I want to pass the glass along to everybody else. So it shouldn't be $300 for a sheet of glass, when maybe the glass should be $200.
Are you going to sell that separately?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.